for vegetables, so we can't do that. But I've decided that in spite of that, I'm going to start some lavender cuttings. And what I've done is I've purchased some of these little peat pellets. Went to Walmart and I found boxes of these, and I bought a few boxes, and I had these plastic trays. I don't remember what I bought them for, but I have quite a bunch of them, and they happen to fit 10 pellets just perfectly. So what I do is I just put the pellets in there and put some warm water and wait till they swell. Shouldn't have moved that around so much, but that's okay. They will swell up and fill that area up and look like this. They just fit perfectly in there. And what I've done is I do have a lavender plant that is still alive, but it hasn't died, and I've taken very small cuttings, and what I'm doing here is I trim all the bottom leaves off, trim the end off, and just put it in this little peat pot. Now, you can use all kinds of growth hormones to help it root. I tend to be a little less fussy than that. I, unfortunately, perhaps not as kind, but I just, whatever survives, survives, and whatever doesn't, doesn't. And I usually try to do enough of them that I do have some that do survive my process. So just keep these moist. And yes, I had great success with them last year up at my friend's farm, and unfortunately they had to be moved. Yes, lavender is one of those things that is a perennial even here, so it could have stayed in the ground. And what I'd like to do this year is create a hedge with lavender, with sage. Fortunately, I can't use rosemary because rosemary is an annual here. So I can certainly put rosemary in the ground, and I did buy some rosemary seeds, and I will be starting that. Now I do have some rosemary cuttings, so I'm going to have to wait till that swells up a little bit more. I do have some rosemary cuttings that I purchased from the grocery stores, and we'll be planting those as well. But I thought I found the seed packet, and I thought I would try to start them from seed. I've never started rosemary from seed in the past, so this is something new for me as well. Okay, and these are some sage cuttings that I put together yesterday. So I do have some sage, some lavender, and I'm going to do rosemary in the third batch. Now those have swollen up a fair bit. I'm going to add a little bit more water. Yes, and the other thing that I've been toying with is avocados. My husband has taken to liking avocados, and he's actually eating a fair bit of them. So I told him to save me the seed, and as you can see, in the end I had to tell him to stop saving them for me because there's just too many. But there is an up and a down to these seeds, and what you do is there's two ways you can start these. You can just wrap them in a wet paper towel and then put them in a plastic bag and ignore them for a couple of weeks, and at one point go and take a look at them, and if they've rooted, you can either put them in water as I've done here, or you can put them in soil. Now, I was saying that this was my first one here, and I was saying that it reminds me of a scene from Little Shop of Horrors. Just the way the seed splits and the root comes out of it. I'm going to let this root a bit more before I plant it, but as you can see, it's they're very successfully. They're all rooting quite easily. I don't know what I can do with these. I mean, I certainly cannot plant them outside. I can for the summer, but at some point they will have to come in. But yes, I think I've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I've got an 8th one that I haven't brought here to show you. But yes, I think 8 is quite enough to satisfy my curiosity on how these plants will grow. I've also started a sweet potato to try and get sweet potato slips. Now you can do the same thing that I did with the avocados and just stick toothpicks, but I have this bowl here, and I just decided to put half of this in the water, and it's growing roots just nicely. It hasn't started to grow the slips yet, but it's still early, so when the slips start to grow, then we'll pull them off and let them root as well. So the beginnings of a garden. I just can't wait to get my hands into the garden. Okay, now I'm going to open up this little packet of rosemary seeds and see what we've got here. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're fairly tiny. But I'm going to put 2 seeds in each little pellet, just to ensure that if one doesn't come up, maybe another one will. That one only took 1, and 1 fell. 1 there, and another one. Now I understand that these will take a while to germinate, so that's part of why I have no issue starting these early. Okay, now there are a few that got more than 1, but that's fine. Okay, put the rest of these back, and we'll save those. So just tap those down. Okay, it may be early, but finally gardening season has begun. I hope you enjoyed this video, short as it is, and we'll catch you on the next one. Okay, well, I decided that since I am starting my herb garden, perhaps I should look around and see what else I need to do. So first of all, the rosemary seeds that I planted need to be labeled. So there we have it. I know what these are now. I also have some chamomile planted in this little pot. Now I had seeded this little pot a while ago, and they didn't come up. And for some reason I just kept watering it and saw some life, and well, yes, my chamomile's come up. It's a very tiny, very delicate plant, but I'm quite happy to see that it has germinated, and we'll just keep that going until we can put it in the ground. Now I have a lot of parsley seed from past years which I have saved, so I'm going to do one of these containers. I've soaked them, and I'm going to do one of these containers strictly of parsley, and I don't care if I put more than 2 or 3 seeds in each one. Got a little bit of stem in there as well, but that won't hurt anything. As I was saying, I specifically went up to Richter's to get some, actually I went there to replace my bay tree, I had this amazing bay tree that I'd had for probably 15 years, and when I moved, it didn't like the move. And I was so disappointed. It was actually absolutely beautiful just before I moved, and as I said, it just didn't seem to care for being moved. So I went to replace it, got another baby one, and they take forever to grow. I'm really sorry that I've lost my large one, but we'll start again. So I also picked up some as the chamomile from there, and some borage, and I may go back when things open up to see what else I might want. These are good sized seeds. Okay, I think I will put just, well, maybe I should put 2 in each pot just to ensure that if one doesn't germinate, then the other one will. Yeah, that will work. Okay, so 2. And good. Oh yes, we've got lots here. And maybe next year I'll be able to save seed myself. I really do prefer to save seed, but there's quite a bit here, so. And actually I have some to give away. Okay, so there it is. The beginnings of my herb garden. And this also needs to be labeled, especially when you're just seeding and you can't tell what's in which pot. Okay, there we go. Yes, I used to have other herbs like the dill. The dill I could just seed in the ground, and the thyme I will just toss in the ground as well. That will seed. You can do that with parsley too, but it just takes forever to come up. So yeah, there's quite a number of other seeds that I'd like to plant, but we've got a good start here. We've got borage, parsley, rosemary, lavender, sage, and the chamomile. So yes, that is a good start. Anyway, that's it for now. And most definitely my fig trees are taking over. I've got 3 little ones there in pots and a great big huge one on the floor. I did allow them all to drop their leaves in the fall and brought them in. Unfortunately, even without watering them, they decided to grow and put out leaves, so rather than killing them, I did water them. Sweet figs, hopefully they will, do something, but yeah, interesting. So there's my little forest here of seedlings, and I do have other things on window ledges, but for now this is the tabletop garden. This is Tony from her Homestead Skills, and that's our video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day.